and welcome back to the ministry. And today we are talking about part 3 of the Lake House. But I want to pause for a moment and say hi to the person that commented on my videos the other day that said that they didn't know how they found my channel and that my videos have truly blessed them. Thank you so much for your comment. I fully and completely appreciate you because it's hard doing these words sometimes, because sometimes you feel like nobody's hearing you, nobody's listening, and that it's not impacting when some people don't say anything. So I truly appreciate that you are speaking up and saying something. I believe your name was Naomi Wayinga. I know I pronounced that wrong. I'm so sorry. But I know the first name was Naomi. Hey, you in good company, girl. You got Naomi. You know Naomi was Ruth's mother-in-law. So, girl, you good. But I wanted to thank you personally, and I hope this blessed you. And anybody else, take this as a note. Anyone that says anything, I will actually shout you out. So, as we recommence the word. Okay, back to part 3. Now, give you a little bit of a reminder. In the last one, we were talking about, we had just gotten to the point where Dr. Kate Foster had went out with her ex, who had called her, and he said, let's go out to dinner. He took her to this place that you couldn't get into without a reservation, and they were booked up for reservations for at least 6 months to October. And I pointed out the fact that this month is October. So when they went back outside, they ended up in a discussion about the fact that he was very authoritative, that he made all of the decisions, and he made massive jump decisions. Like he would plan out everything, like he was planning out their whole lives, and they only just met. He went and bought a house and all this kind of stuff, and they'd only been together for like a week. And she was arguing about that, and he was saying, well, if you want to argue with me about that, then what about the guy that you were kissing at the birthday party? And she was like, I kissed that guy. I don't even know who that guy was. Now, recommencing to Alex's side of the story. This is where it gets good. All right. Reminder though. Remember, I was telling you that you cannot interfere with your God-ordained spouse's life before the Lord allows. Some of us have tried. Some of us, because we knew, we started ogling their social medias. Some of us that because we knew that they had prominence. Maybe they had some type of position that we had access to. Maybe we looked up their company. Maybe we whatever. Some of y'all was stalking. You know you was stalking. I never understood that though. Because I've heard a lot of people say that they was doing that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there like, how can you? That's a little bit too much. I would feel like I was a stalker. Even the little stuff that I did, I would feel like I was a stalker. So I kind of backed off. And I wasn't even really saying much. Because I'm not that type of chick. But if they got a show, or if they do something specific that you can go and attend ahead of time, you're not supposed to do that. If God didn't say do that, He's not going to allow that to happen. And I don't care how much you try to put yourself into the scenario because you think you innocently, well, I'm just going to the XYZ because I want to go to the XYZ. And God be like, now you know. You wouldn't have never wanted to go to the XYZ if you didn't know he was going to be there. Stop lying. Stop lying. Anyway, commencing the film. So, Alex has just gotten off of work. And his assistant, who has been checking him for the past year or so, been seeing that he's been having a conversation with somebody through letters. And she been getting a little jealous. So she's sitting in the passenger seat of his car. And she's like, you're not even paying attention. I mean, didn't you see my boots? And she puts her foot up on his dashboard and shows the boots that she has on. And he's like, uh-huh. Like, I don't get it. I don't care. And she's like like, why don't we like go out or something? I mean, you don't never go out with nobody. And she's making up all this type of stuff. And I think she tried to approach to kiss him or something like that. And the dog was sitting in the back of the truck. I mean, this dog was spiritually aware. It's like when you got a guardian angel, it's like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. The dog jumps out the back of the car and he sees from his peripheral vision the dog has jumped out the car. So he gets out the truck and goes to run after the dog. And because she so wants to be with him, she starts running behind him. Where you going? Where you going? And it's stupid. So he's running behind the dog and ends up at this house. And he catches the dog at the house, and lo and behold, Morgan, this is the same time frame around the time in which he got the book for Kate at the train station. So it's only a couple of days later, and he catches the dog and ends up talking to Morgan, and Morgan's like, I'm having a party. I just got this new house, and so on and so forth. And they were talking about getting another property, or the guy was talking to him about getting another property, and they ended up in an architectural conversation about property and homes and stuff like that. And the guy said, oh, well, tonight I'm having a party for my girlfriend who's just starting her residency, so maybe you can come and we'll talk about more stuff in relation to the house. And he's like, oh, okay. And this is right when the other chick shows up and is like, she all out of breath. Oh, you found the dog. Oh, okay. Some of these women that be after your god ordained spouse, they just be chasing, know that the man ain't got no interest. They just want to hang around long enough, hoping that they change their mind. Talk them out of the idea. Can you, I'm right here. Why don't you pay me attention? And some of these women are just vindictive enough that they tracking them to see, and tracking they ever move with their phone and all kinds of stuff that they just, I'm going to stick around and I'm going to be all up in your business because I'm going to get in that spot. Because there's obviously ain't nobody there right now, but I'm going to get in there. I'm going to find my way to get in there before you can get with somebody else. Okay? So anyway, so he says, okay, I'll come to the party. But he doesn't send her a letter to let her know that he's coming to the party. So what he does is he shows up at the party that night, and he's there with his assistant, and he's talking to the guy about the architectural stuff, but he's not really there for the architectural talk. He wants to meet her. So everybody has hid because it's her birthday. And she comes in that night. Meanwhile, in present day, it's her birthday, and she's at the bar sitting having drinks with herself because she ain't dating nobody, at least to anybody else's viewpoint. And her doctor friend shows up and says it should be illegal that you sit here and have a drink by yourself after 10 p.m. on your own birthday. And they end up in conversation about her birthday past. And she was talking about relationships, and then you end up talking about, she's like, so you had never had a guy that you were, and she said there was a guy, but I never really got close to him. And she was talking about this guy, the guy that she was with in when she was with, still staying at that house, the Morgan guy. And she's sitting there pondering, and she, in the time that Alex is in, it's the night of the party, she comes in, drops her stuff down, and everybody yells surprise. And this is what happens. Okay, the guy she's dating is holding the cake, right? He's standing in the forefront of everybody, but right over his right shoulder is Alex. But because in this time frame she don't know who he is, he don't mean nothing to her. Let me tell you something about this, right? You could sit up there and put yourself smack dab in front of your God ordained spouse, but if it ain't time, it ain't time. Right after that, they end up in a conversation. It's him, the girl that he came with, her, and this Morgan guy. And she's like, oh, okay, hi, how you doing? You got to understand something, and this is explanatory too. You have to think about it like this. We as the kingdom spouses, we know so much more information than they do, that we thinking on the time frame and the frequency we're on. We're not thinking on the frequency that they're on, nor are we thinking about where they are. And because we're not thinking about where they are, we don't understand the headspace that they're in if we interfere with where they are right now. And wonder why we get rejected, ghosted, messages get denied, all this kind of stuff. Think about the headspace that she was in, okay? I'm going to walk through this with you. She literally just walked into her house. This man has thrown a party, invited all these people that she has no idea who none of these people are. And they've only been dating for like a week or so. And recall from the previous and what I just said at the very beginning, she was frustrated with him because they'd only been dating like a week or so, and he's already planned major birthday parties, invited a bunch of people into her house, done all this, talking about moving into a completely different house, all this type of stuff. And she's, in this moment, it's her birthday, but she can't even see Alex because right now she's thinking about Morgan and the fact that, dude, you have completely disregarded the fact that this is my personal space. I only just met you. Who the heck are you to be doing all this? What in the world? This is the things that are probably running through her brain in the moment in which she crosses paths with Alex the first time. And she's like, so when she walks up to Alex, she's like, yeah, okay, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Because her brain is still like, I can't believe this man done did this. We don't know what they going through. in the season in which we're not supposed to be there. So we could go and place ourselves directly in front of their face, but you don't know what they're going through in their personal life. That we could go to an event, we could go to wherever it is that they are at, and because they going through something, they were never gonna see us. Because they could be talking, doing a mantra in their own brain about their own girlfriend or their own person that they dealing with at that time, trying to figure out whether they won't be with that person, whether this person gonna piss them off, whether this X, Y, and Z. Yes, we are the savior, not really, but the totem, the hello, I'm here, I'm the person that you need to be with. It ain't gonna work because they brain ain't there. She wasn't even thinking about him in that moment. So, back in present time, for her, she's talking to her friend at the bar saying, Morgan was there. He was right in front of my face and I couldn't see him. But it's funny, I'm sitting there having a conversation through letters and her friend's like, yeah, you be sitting there writing letters all the time. I'm like, every break you're on, you're writing letters. Who is this guy that you writing letters to? Oh my God. And he's like, he's safe because he's not here. Because I can interact with him to a deep degree and I don't even know who he is. The guy that was directly in front of me, I couldn't see him, but this guy, and this is the irony of it, because she's talking about the guy that was directly in front of her was Morgan, the one that was holding the birthday cake. But the guy that she's been corresponding with was standing directly behind his right shoulder. But she couldn't see him. He was the guy she sat there and had a conversation with, but could not see him. So back at the party, at the exact same time frame, 2 years prior, he's sitting there. He had gone outside and was talking to her. And she's frustrated. She's still frustrated because she's like, I can't believe this man that did this. And you can tell her entire demeanor is like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be interacting with nobody. I can't believe this man did this. I don't want to get into an argument with this guy while he done did this. I am so pissed off at him right now. So she outside, and here comes Alex, and he's like, hey, I'm that guy that's supposed to be helping you with your house. And she turned around, look at him like, who are you? What? This is why our God ordained spouses ghost us. Try to message them before time. They gonna ghost you. They gonna look at you like, who are you? And why are you messaging me? For what? Why? Why are you even trying to talk to me? And don't let your God ordained spouse have any type of status. They get messages like that 24/7. So forget it. You are like AC in AC of people. They might notice that you message just because God highlighted the fact that you message, but it's like they still ain't gonna see you because they still thinking of you as everybody else. They're like, oh, so it's one of them. Okay. So, she's sitting there and he says, I happen to notice that, you okay? And she's like, haha. And he said, well, I'm the one that's going to be, selling you your house. Ergo. Referring to the fact that she's going to live in that house after he leaves. And she's kind of like, okay. And then they sit there and she's still having a moment, trying to calm herself down. And he says, so, you ever read the book Persuasion? And she turns to him, now really concerned, like, wait, how did you know anything? Why did you even say that? That's like my favorite book. What the? Now because she's like, Because she pissed off anyway about the boyfriend, and she's looking at him like, you asking too many personal questions and saying, what are you talking about? This is the problem with us having knowledge. God will give us certain knowledge about our God ordained spouses, and if we ain't careful, when they first interact with us, we could actually scare them away because we will have too much information, especially if the person has any type of status, position, ranking. They could, think that you were stalking them and trying to attach themselves. Um, Anybody know the movie Hitch, where Will Smith plays a love doctor, and what he would do is he would literally research the person he was trying to hook up was trying to get with, find out everything it was that person was seeking, wanting, desiring, so on and so forth, and then approach them. This is actually manipulation. It's a form of manipulation. And it could literally come off like that if you approach your ordained spouse like that, because it's like they're looking at you like, how you know all this? And depending on what status they carry, they're going to be looking at you like, I need to stay away from you anyway because you know too much. And because you know too much, I can't have any real authentic conversation with you because I don't know that this is a setup or not. Meaning somebody set me up, or you trying to set me up because you're trying to get close to me. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, she's like, excuse me, what are you talking about, the book Persuasion? And he's like, oh, no. I'm not trying to, I'm just asking because I saw the book and I was interested in what's in the book. And I wanted to know, did you know anything about it? And she's like, that's my favorite book. And catch this. This is the summary of the book. The summary of the book says that it's two people that are waiting for each other, and they were broken up. For anybody waiting on a prodigal, for anybody that's waiting on somebody that was your ordained spouse that you met and separated from, this line's for you. They broke up, years passed, and they wonder if it's been too long for them to make it work. For some of y'all have been waiting on a prodigal. Y'all have been waiting on somebody that the Lord allowed you to meet, see, come into alignment with for a brief moment. Maybe y'all were in a relationship. Maybe y'all was married and you broke up. You felt like it didn't work. But the Lord is telling you, no, that's your person. No, I'm going to work that out. I'm going to look this up. They need to go through what they need to go through, but I'm going to bring them back to you in time. Some of these prodigals, especially the ones that y'all was married to, the Lord has let them know. The second, he may not have let them know when he let you know, but he let them know when, at a specific point in time. And the Lord probably did let you know that they know. When you knew they knew. If that makes any sense. If you knew that they knew. And at that particular point, the clock started. And what the clock meant was God has given them as much time as they need in order to break up connections, soul ties, things that they operate in rebellion in, all this kind of stuff before he starts snatching things up and wreaking havoc in those areas. Because as soon as they knew, it's like a child who thought as a child, but you are a man, put away them childish things, you better put it down. It's like a 5-year-old. When you done told that 5-year-old, didn't I just tell you to put that down? I remember an old joke with people don't like him right now, but Bill Cosby. My mother used to listen to his old albums, and in it was talking about how he had a child, and the child he said, "Don't touch my coat." It was not that kind of coat, can of Coca-Cola that was sitting on the table, and he told the child, "Don't touch my Coca-Cola." He turns around, and the child done picked up the Coca-Cola. He turns back around. He said, "Didn't I tell you not to touch my Coca-Cola?" He puts the Coca-Cola down and says, "Don't touch the Coca-Cola." This is where these God-ordained spouses have been. We started praying for them to break all of their soul ties, and that's the very things that they're running into. Rebellion, greed, lust, malice, the will of their own, disobedience, rebellion, lust, perversion. And we sitting there like, really, God? I'm praying for this person and they are going right into the thing I'm praying against. What is this? So we thinking it's been too much time. Y'all thinking it's been too much time, especially for the ones that you know that you were with. And y'all have more understanding because you were with them for a period enough time that you can literally go back in your memory and break down all of the curses for what you saw them doing while you were with them. You knew them too well. And that's how you were able to break the curses. Some of y'all been doing that. Keep doing that. Where we at? We only got a few more minutes but that was what the book was about. So they're still talking, and she was reminiscing about the first boyfriend she had, because he had asked her, "So did you ever wait on anybody?" And she said there was this boyfriend she had when she was a teenager that she ran off with, and her father had to drag her back home, and they were sitting there laughing, and then they went over and were talking, and this song came on, which is actually their song somewhat, because it keeps coming up every time they're writing letters to each other. And they end up, as the song's playing, standing out there dancing to the music of the song. And as they're dancing, they get closer and closer, and the next thing you know, they're kissing. And then you hear Morgan say, "Kate!" And here's Morgan, here's the girl that he had come with. They both standing there looking like, he said, "I guess I should probably go." So the chick that he came with, him and her left, and leaving Kate with Morgan, and they looking at each other like, and in present day, she's sitting there thinking to herself, "Oh my God, that was you." And then you see her write him a letter, and she's sitting, they do this montage where they're sitting in the same park 2 years different from each other. She's sitting on the bench and he's sitting on the bench reading the letters, and she says, "Why didn't you tell me that was you at the party?" And he said, "I didn't want to interfere." You didn't want to interfere. So they have their first little spat, and she was like, "Oh my goodness." So they get off and get over their little spat. Do I want to go into this next part now? I just finished that out in the next phase. Because we almost to the end of this. So they get into that mini little bickering session about whether how he had interjected himself at the party. Now, but they keep talking, or they start talking about other things. I'm gonna flip this over until the next part. We're going into part 4, so stay tuned for part 4.